Hello again. If you're watching this video, you have completed two tasks. You have created a grocery list, and you have put your grocery list items into a sentence. We have called this sentence 1. I want you to take a look at your punctuation and organizational patterns in this sentence. Did you use only commas? Did you use semicolons? Did you use parentheses? Did you create more general groups such as dairy, fruits and vegetables, meats and cheeses, cleaning supplies, personal grooming items? The truth is that many combinations work, and really, that's the trick with writing. Apart from different sentence versions actually being correct, we all have different writing styles, and these styles are reflected in our choices. So many of you could have what we would call a correct sentence, but they would all be different. So here is my sentence. I went to Sprouts and bought pistachios and walnuts, milk, yogurt, and cheese, celery, plum tomatoes, cilantro, baby carrots, chilies, and ginger, apples, pineapples, and blueberries, popcorn, granola bars, cereal, and dried fruit, dish soap, and multivitamins. Most of us are familiar with the most straightforward use of the comma, which is to create lists. Notice then how I used semicolons as major dividers for categories with comma-separated lists inside of them. I was able to create categories without using words like nuts, dairy, vegetables, although tomatoes are technically fruits, snacks, cleaning items or cleaning supplies, and vitamins. So I could have also used the category names like nuts and a parenthesis in this way. Nuts, in parentheses, such as pistachios and walnuts, semicolon, dairy, such as milk, yogurt, and cheese, semicolon, and so on. So the key is when you have so many commas and so many items in a list, it's what we call a complex list. And it really helps to organize your items in categories unless you want to have a never-ending list with tons of commas. So you can think of this visually too. I've created a visual here that has groceries as the main header, and then categories such as nuts and dairy, and you can add imagine the other categories around them, and then within them the specific items. So I want you to notice the organizational patterns here. Groceries is the broad category, and think of the supermarket. Visualize the supermarket, and then think of the other categories as sections. So the nuts section, the dairy section, and within those sections you have specific items. I also like to think about a chest of drawers or a filing cabinet. If you're looking to organize, you don't mix your socks with your t-shirts or shorts, right? Many of us have that organizational pattern, but when you want to separate things out and make sure other people can find them, well, you have a sock for each drawer. You have multiple socks for one drawer, and socks equal a group, t-shirts equal another group. And you can go even further and organize your major groups by size, location, chronological order, or order of importance. So for example, in my sentence, I tried to keep the food and non-food separate, and I emphasized food in importance over non-food items. So now you know that one use of the semicolon is as a larger divider of comma lists or of complex sentences. I'm going to ask you to revise your sentence 1 and use semicolons. You can use commas or parentheses based on your preference. We will call this revised sentence, sentence 2. So when you post your sentences, show me what sentence 1 looked like, and then show me sentence 2 after giving some thought to organizational patterns. Now and punctuation. This doesn't mean that maybe your sentences are going to be very similar if you already use semicolons for the first one. If you did use semicolons for the first one, try using a different organizational marker like parentheses or commas. Change it up a little bit. So show me that you can write the same sentence in a correct way, but with two different styles. Think of this not only as a grammar lesson, but as a lesson in organization. These principles of categories and groups apply not only to your sentences, but also to your paragraphs and document sections. Think about each paragraph and document section as your filing cabinet or chest of drawers. So you have a document. That document has drawers or sections. You don't want the t-shirt section to get too in-depth with the shorts. They might be related, but one thing is to mention the relationship within a section, and then the other is to go off topic or to have two topics within one paragraph or one section. If you're going to talk t-shirts, first go deep and then switch to shorts. So as a bonus, some of you may be wondering if it is correct, in quotes, to have a comma before the word and in a list of more than two items. So you saw this, you could say apples, bananas, and oranges. Some of you like to insert a comma before and some of you don't. You may have noticed that I inserted a comma. The key is that both are correct, but the key is to be consistent. Personally, I like to use the comma before and because in very complicated sentences with lots of ands, it helps my readers know that they have reached the end of a list. Does that make sense? So whatever your choice is, be consistent and let me know if you have any questions. These grammar exercises are to be continued, and I'm going to ask that as the semester progresses, you pay special attention to the ways in which I use punctuation. You should be paying attention to punctuation all around you, but notice how I use periods, semicolons, commas, colons especially. I use a lot of colons in the Blackboard shell. And commas, semicolons, and colons are some of the most misused punctuation, and I might misuse them here and there, which you are welcome to point out. But it's something I try to make correct use of, and I think it's also something that in order to really learn, you have to notice the patterns. So good luck, and contact me if you have any questions. See you next time.